Hi, TK.
Hello,
Uh,
Farai.
Good. Welcome back to the last, uh, but not least, segment on career research, which is one of the things that we pride ourselves at Shasha. With all the concepts and frameworks that we've designed, I think career research is one of the things where we've seen our scholars really thrive. From people, finding their calling and careers in music and to diplomacy to medicine and a wide variety of things, even design. Um, what do you think goes into the entire process? As just as a scholar comes into the Shasha Bridge program, what are we aiming to achieve with them? As they do their career research process.
Yeah. So thank you so much for inviting me. I think it's been a pleasure talking to you. So I think like what when our scholars come into the program, right, they have already their preconceived ideas of what they want to do, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
people would say I want to be a doctor, lawyer, accountant, entrepreneur, the list is endless, right?
Yeah.
So what they're trying to do is like we want to demystify all the stereotypes, everything that they've cared before, right? Like, this is the best career for you, this is what you have to do, right? And really supply them with a full bag of knowledge, right? That from the whole entire curriculum, right? It's about a knowledge building, right? We want to give them the knowledge, right? That's the first thing, right? And then the second thing, we want to equip them with skills. That's the capabilities, right? And why are we doing this? Because we believe that knowledge, right, plus skills is equals to choice, right? We want to give them the ability to make informed choices and decisions, right? And even better, we want them to experience, right? To explore and to experience, right? Because what happens is that most of these people are coming in with this idea of what they want to be because that's what they've been told with their parents or their teachers, or that's what the streets or the country is saying, right? Like the general populace is saying, right?
Yeah.
But they're simply saying that that is not based on
What are
knowledge.
you saying? It's like
Yeah,
we understand what everyone is saying, but what are you
saying
saying
what are you
about your
saying?
journey? Yeah.
An even more powerful question
Mm.
that we want our students to answer is why
Mm.
are you saying that?
Yeah. Why
You
are
don't
you
even have
saying
to
that?
say I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Why do you want to be a doctor? Why do you
Mm.
want to be a lawyer? And
Yeah.
that is what we do at SASA. We want our students, our mentors to be inquisitive, right? To ask those questions, these hard questions, right?
Hmm.
And we do that through various ways, reflections, through knowledge building, through exposing them to people on the ground already, so that they
Yes.
would get that first-hand information,
Mm.
and in the end, ask that question, why? Yeah,
It's interesting because during one of our coffee chats, we had a guest speaker from Singapore,
yeah,
and this gentleman talked about how he went about taking a gap year whilst 2 years into college, and he then realized, I'm going to take a gap year and I'm going to do career research in the middle of college.
yeah,
Many students find themselves in this particular situation. And if you're on the lucky side of the spectrum, you can afford to take a gap year and then come back to school.
yeah,
But if you're not privileged and you cannot afford to take a gap year and find yourself, then the risk is you're just going to have to double down on something that you're not passionate about and that you don't enjoy. And in countries where there's no liberal arts ability to
yeah,
change,
yeah,
you're literally going to sign your death sentence on something that you don't enjoy or you can't grow to enjoy. And sometimes in careers, it's very difficult to find that place where you're able to actually grow within that specific, you know, um, field. So what we're trying to do with the career research aspect, as TK said, is ask students the right questions and the tough questions which they shouldn't shy away from.
yeah,
And we don't necessarily impose students to come out with an answer. some students still come out and they say, you know, the good thing is when I came here, I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do, but now I've narrowed it down to 3 specific things. Then that's better than saying I want to do an infinite amount of things, because
Exactly.
then, you know, it's only one of you, and you could choose to do some of it as a side hustle or some of it as a core aspect. But in a world where time and resources are limited, it's important to get young people starting to ask questions and getting them confident with their career research process.
Yeah, I think that that's very true because for me, it's like
Mm.
when you go through this process of doing career research, it's like it starts when you're like in grade one, you know, when the
Yeah.
teacher asks what you want to be. Like, I've literally maybe changed 100 times my career options, right? Like, because when sort of like when you're in primary, it's more about fantasy, right? I want to
Yeah.
drive a plane.
Mm.
I want to be a teacher. I want to be, it's all about fantasy,
Mm.
right? Or I want to be Batman or Superman because you watch those things on
Yes.
movies, right? And then Form 1, you have an idea, but it's still not there, you know. You're just like, you know, what's the what's the most fancy job title here? Neurosurgeon, you know,
Yes.
neurosurgeon, you know,
All sorts of.
neurologist, or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then Form 4, you kind of like now you have an idea of your strength, kind of. That's when maybe you start maybe like, you know, removing some aspects and all. And also like that, I think that will affect your decision that you're gonna take, like which subject you're gonna take A level.
Yes.
And then when it comes A levels, now I think it's now also about the pressure of the college that you want to go to and the
Yeah.
pressure of the environment, or like the teachers will be saying like,
Mm.
you know, there's sort of like this tier system, you know,
Mm.
in
Mm.
Zimbabwe or like in African education, whereby like the scientists are for the smartest.
Yes. So even if you're not passionate about
Yeah,
sciences, we're still gonna put you in sciences class. We don't care
scientists,
that you like history,
exactly.
but yeah,
For the for the commercials, not so smart people,
they're
and
in
then
between.
add,
Yeah.
well, those are the rejects, right? That's the narrative at school.
Yeah.
That's the stereotype, right?
I've seen
But
that
like,
happen many
yeah,
places.
but is it really about the subject or commercial that determines smartness?
No.
Not really, right? So these are the things that I had to go through personally as I navigated my future, right? But when I came here, I think it was the time to hit refresh. Like what I was exposed to this, you know, possibilities of okay, you can do psychology and you still can go to banking,
Mm.
do American African American studies,
Hmm.
African studies, and still going to consulting. You
Yeah.
know,
You can do
you
journalism. End
no,
up.
it's all about like the skills, right? So for me, it's like the way now I had to go through my career research was not based on the grades per se, or whether I'm doing sciences or you know arts, the narrative that was before. But what are my interests, right? We
Mm.
talked about that, you know, that framework that we continue to talk about, the VIPs, right? What is my interest, right? Knowledge building, capability building in Africa.
Mhm.
What work, right, can I do? Or what mission? One of the things that I love is like, I think you are a product of that, like the ALU system, which declares missions rather than
Mm.
majors, right? I think that's something which really calls upon finding meaning in your career, in your life, rather than just, you know, going and riding with the tide, you know, or like science for the smart. Therefore, if I want to be a smart, I have to join the science, you know, just do what you love, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Yeah.
that is what we're trying to do at Shasha
Mm.
Bridge. And that is part of also my personal experience.
I think, around the idea of do what you love, we
Yeah.
also say this with a back banner of play the game that exists in order to play the game that you want.
Yes.
And the reason why we do this is it's the effects of following a system blindly,
Yeah.
hoping that I'm going to get satisfaction or the best life outcomes because I've always been an A student. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that's the actual thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people that are we C students end up outperforming you, not because they had the academic credentials to do that, but they had the community, they had the foresight of where their strengths, where, and they were able to do that. So what we try to do with the Shasha program is to say we acknowledge the system that exists. Are we saying go, start failing? No, we're not saying that. We're saying you still need to excel at the system that exists, but you need to do it with a certain level of awareness. Because the
Yes.
people that have still been able to be those A students or even B students and still succeed are people that did it with a certain level of awareness, so that you avoid disappointing yourself at the end of the day. And I think just on the same idea, even in college, as you go through your different internship experiences, etc., in your lifetime, in these times that we exist, you're going to pivot your career so many times. You're going to change it
Exactly.
1,000 times, right? So career research is going to be a constant. And mentorship is going to be important because you're going to be asking, okay, should I get in that particular field? Should I get into data? Should I get into programming? Or do I need to get into like writing and storytelling or, something different? Because there are new jobs that are going to be existing. And
Yeah, and also like the adaptation, like they're always gonna adapt,
exactly.
and all the stuff. So we
So you
need to
need
be,
to be researching, right?
yeah,
So don't think the thing that you're studying now, or the thing that you're interested in now is going to
yeah,
be this thing that you're going to die doing.
yeah,
Chances are it's not going to be.
yeah.
And, and,
And also
and
like
we,
the job you're doing now
yeah,
not be the same 10 or 5 years from now, right?
exactly.
So I think like this career research is a continuous process.
Hmm.
And that's why we at Shasha, we created our program to be a lifetime support,
Yes.
because we know that it's not the end, right? It's just a means to the end, which the end will never come, it's just
And
in a
that's
final.
why also we don't say get out of this program and do that specific career.
Yeah, yes,
Our focus is on giving you the tools,
that's
right?
true.
It's giving you the tools to be able to do amazing stuff after. Because
Yes,
the risk of telling you, do this because it's the most paying job or because of this, it might not be the most paying job
yeah,
5 years from now or the most
exactly.
lucrative one. So we always try to give people the tools to be empowered and to do their things. But it's exciting to go through this program with our mentors, because it's with our mentees at the Shasha Bridge program, because we get deeper into this aspect of career research. So yeah, it's been a great pleasure, talking to you, TK, and going through all these various concepts, and digging deeper into them. And hopefully some of the people listening in will be able to recommend some of this information and share ideas in the comments, or even recommend other young people to join the mentorship program.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Farai.
Awesome. Take care and enjoy the rest of your 2021.
Yeah, thank you.